Hello, everyone, and welcome to BeFM School Reporters. I'm your host, Daniel Shin. Now, in this program, students of Busan get to bring you stories and issues that they are interested in. They get to share their personal thoughts, as well even create their own news. So starting last week was the beginning of the new 2021 BeFM School Reporters season. We're going to meet more school reporters today. Our first batch of school reporters come from Haewon Elementary School, and they're going to talk about integrated classrooms as well as text message abbreviations. Sounds very interesting. And our second batch of school reporters come from Nammun Elementary, and they're going to talk about leisure activities and some of their favorite sports. So, without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to our first batch of school reporters, once again, from Haewon Elementary School. Hi, guys. You want to introduce yourselves to our listeners?
Before I begin, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity as a school reporter. Hello, my name is Haeun Kim. I'm in the 6th grade of Haewon Elementary School. I studied at a Canadian public elementary school last year and returned to 6th grade this year. I also studied in Canada, and I had a very close relationship with my teachers. When I came back to Korea, I was worried that I would not have a close relationship like that with all my teachers, but I was wrong. All the teachers, including the principal at our school, are all very friendly. So, I would like to introduce my school to all the listeners.
All right, sounds good. So, let's dive right into our segment.
Haewon Elementary School is among the 58 elementary schools in Haeundae District to have integrated classrooms. Daniel, are you familiar with an integrated classroom?
Not so much, but I have a feeling that you guys are going to tell our listeners about it. Can you tell us a bit more, please?
An integrated classroom is a setting where students with special needs learn alongside average peers.
Serene and I both are very proud of our school's educational goal and the integrated classroom for the special needs students. According to the Busan Haeundae District Office of Education, there are 287 elementary schools that have integrated classrooms, and 58 of the schools are located in Haeundae.
In every grade, students with special needs have the chance to be in an average classroom.
When I was in 3rd and 4th grade, there was a student in my class who was just a little different than others. At first, it was awkward, but then as we got to know each other better, we quickly became friends. I strongly believe that the goal of this integrated classroom is to give opportunities for students to understand each other. Our school principal said, at Haewon Elementary, the best students of all Busan come together to prepare for future education. Students are taught to read regularly, to increase background knowledge and dream big dreams. Students also learn to play one instrument so that one student graduates can freely play at least one instrument.
Students also have a chance to see each other's dreams in their own picture and essay, gather all to make one book called Haewon Times every year, and an orchestra and chorus with the best, going to function and talents are our school's indispensable pride.
Lastly, the same probably goes for general schools, but in our integrated classroom, our assistant teachers look after each and every student carefully and warmly and help them communicate so that the special student can build their confidence and have no problem learning in an average classroom.
Let's take a break by listening to this song before we start the second segment. Here is Tale as Old as Time, sung by Piabo Bryson and Celine Dion, Beauty and the Beast movie. I chose this song because I love how smooth the harmony sounds between the two singers.
All right, a great selection. So we're going to hear more from our school reporters from Haewon Elementary School, Haum and Serene. But in the meantime, here we go by Peeble Bryson and Celine Dion, Tale as Old as Time. We'll be right back. And we're back, listeners. That was Peeble Bryson and Celine Dion with Tale as Old as Time. On the line with us are our school reporters from Haewon Elementary School. We have Haum and Serene. What are we going to talk about next, guys?
Did you know that it is estimated that about 8 trillion text messages are sent globally every year? That's a lot of text messages, right? That there are on average 67 text messages per day.
Also, the average American checks their phone 46 times a day. and they spend a total of 23 hours a week texting. Along with these texts, there are some funny text abbreviations both in Korean and English. Daniel, do you use abbreviations often when you text?
I sure do. I use a lot of them in English and in Korean.
I use a lot of abbreviation in a group chat. Serene, do you know any specific text abbreviations that they use in the States?
Yes, of course. How about you, Home? Do you know any text abbreviations in Korean?
Yeah, so let's talk about American and Korean text abbreviations. There are a lot of different and new text abbreviations, but we have picked out some of the funnier ones.
All right. For example, Daniel, do you know what GOAT means in text abbreviation?
I actually know this one, and I use this a lot, especially when we talk about sports and like some of the best athletes. We use GOAT a lot. But could you explain to our listeners what GOAT stands for?
This text abbreviation means G, greatest, O of A, all, T, time. It has a similar meaning to something like the best.
Oh, I know an abbreviation in Korean that has similar meanings. It's called Jin. That also means the best. Another abbreviation that is hot in Korea is called Masan 129. If you read it in Korean, it says Masan 129. And that means what's going on in Gyeongsangdo dialect.
In English, you can also say WGO, which stands for what's going on. For example, WGO at your house.
Oh, I've heard that before.
What type of text abbreviation do you use most when you text, Daniel?
I use LOL a lot and BRB a lot. But these are some of the oldest, abbreviations that we use for text. I'm sure you guys will explain more. Sarin?
The most popular English text abbreviation is probably LOL. It stands for laugh out loud. You use it when something is funny and you're laughing.
Now we are going to give a quiz to all the listeners. You can listen and count your points to see how many you get right. We'll start now. Masan 129. 2. 완네스. 3. 스몬비. 4. 오자치고. 5. 남아공.
6. 잼민이.
7. 비담.
Are you done? We will now tell you the answers to this quiz. Please mark your answers.
마산 129 is 무슨 일이고. It means what are you doing? If you were listening earlier, you should have gotten this right.
완네스 is 완전 내 스타일. In English, it means totally my style.
Smombi is a word that combines the words smartphone and zombie. It refers to people who walk around looking at their phones.
오자치고 means 오늘 저녁 chicken go, which means let's eat chicken tonight.
남아공 is 남아서 공부해, which means to stay and study.
6. 잼민이 means young kids or people that act like kids because they don't have a lot of experience. In Korean, it is usually used online when playing games.
비담 is your 담당. It is something like fashion queen. How many
did you get right?
If you got all 7 correct, then you are an internet pro, or you might be addicted to the internet.
If you got 5 or 6 correct, then you're a trend follower. You know most of the newest of the new.
If you got 3 or 4 correct, you are an average person, or maybe a trendy adult.
If you got 1 or 2 correct, you are an average adult level or a my way teenager.
And if you were listening, you probably shouldn't have gotten 0 points.
Well, I got 1 point because I got the first one, 버선일이고, correct, because you guys explained it. But 2, through 7, 완네스, 스멈비, 오저치고, 비담. I have never heard of these, but it's very interesting, very informative. Now I know. Well, Haum and Sunny, it's time to wrap up our segment. I've had a lot of fun, with you guys, especially when it comes to these text message abbreviations. Could you share with the listeners how your time was today on the radio?
It was a good experience, and it was so fun. I hope you listeners had fun, too.
I'm sure they did. Haum, what about you?
I can't believe it's time for us to go already. I hope you all had fun with us. Thank you so much for listening.
All right. Once again, that's Hudin and Haum from Hillwan Elementary. Thank you guys so much. Before you go, what is the next song we're going to play for our listeners?
Here is On the Ground by Rose. I chose this song because I like Rose's unique and special voice when I listen for the first time.
Great track. That's going to do it for our school reporters from Hillwan Elementary. Once again, Haum and Hudin. Girls, thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.